Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Mike Sodano. I'm a volunteer with APTV, and we're here for our second conversation with Mayor John Moor. John, welcome.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me back.
Oh, no problem. No problem. So the idea is to try and use this as an update for everyone in the community. And last time we talked was about 4 weeks ago. And we reviewed the COVID numbers of where we were in Asbury. Maybe you can start just by giving us an update on that.
Okay, and I brought some notes to help me just because my memory is getting shot like everybody else's during this time, and I can't wait for this humidity to break because the past week or so has been brutal.
Killer.
So when we met the last time, the number was 269 in Asbury Park, which was 1.73%. The county was 8,632, which was 1.38%. Now, on July 23rd, we're 331. So in 44 days, we've gone up 62 cases in Asbury Park, and the county's gone from 8,632 to 10,008, and they're at 1.6%. I'm so happy that we have testing in Asbury Park now.
I was going to say, that was a big move. How has the response been on testing?
Response has been great. It started 2 days ago. They were supposed to be limited to the first 100. They kept on going. They did about 151. The majority, and they're keeping track of towns and everything, the majority from Asbury Park, Neptune area, but we had some people as far as Spring Lake drive up to be tested. So this is being done in Asbury, Neptune, Long Branch, Red Bank, and Freehold. And
I think that's a coup for the city. I mean, to be able to
I give the city manager, Donna, I give Councilwoman Clayton, Councilwoman Chapman all the credit in the world because they've been on this since April, talking to County Freeholder Arnone, and to Angelo Sinici to see what the hospital could bring in. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, yeah, we can do it, but we don't have the money. So the city's like, well, we don't have a couple $100,000 and this is not cheap. So finally, the county put together some money in coordination with the Grunin family and the Grunin Foundation. So they're picking up the tab for this. So it's just fantastic. And it's another great thing that the county's doing for everybody. And it wouldn't have been started with the initiative of the Monmouth County Freeholders, especially Director Arnone.
We're kind of coming out of our cocoon as best we can. Last time we were still in lockdown, but now we've got restaurants that are outdoor dining at least and open. It took a lot, I guess, to get closures on streets to do the reopen program. How's that going?
Depends who you talk to. Overall, it's going very well. And again, it was because of the administration, Michael Manziel leading it, Donna, the city manager, other staff members, DPW being involved, obviously police, every department being involved in it. But it's just, overall, people are for it. There's some people that are against. We just started this week, the 500 block of Cookman is going to be shut down 7 days a week. So we have quite a few residents there, and they are complaining, and that there's no parking and other things. So again, it's always a pilot program, and when we adopted it so the administration, be it Michael and Donna, can change it week to week, day by day, without going back to the council and passing another resolution or ordinance or anything. So it's flexible, and it's at the judgment of the administration. I have total faith in the judgment of the administration. Are we going to make everybody happy? Absolutely not. Michael Manziel applied for the grant to get us the small roundabouts on 3rd and 4th. They're still coming. Oh. Hopefully they'll be started in this fall and be completed by the beginning of next year. And that should slow down traffic on 3rd and 4th. Then we can take the speed bumps and put them on other areas where people are saying we're having speeding problems there. Speeding is a problem throughout town, always has been, always will be.
Besides the resident problem on Cookman, I mean, how has the reaction been from the businesses?
The majority are in favor, but there's a couple businesses, I'm going to say more retail than restaurants, that aren't enthused by it and say that it's really not helping them. Anything we can do to help the businesses, we're trying our best. The council is doing as much as we can to try to get more involvement. One problem we've always had is, and people say we have too many committees, and we probably do have too many committees, but each committee, we have open seats on these committees that we're saving because we keep on advertising, trying to get minority representation on these committees because we do not want them 100% white. We do not want them, 90% white. And some of the committees, like planning board, actually can be more important than city council. Darn well,
True.
parking committee can be more important than city council.
Oh, yes.
So all these committees have openings, and so we're actively looking for more public participation from everybody in this town.
Where would they sign up to participate?
They can go to the city website, and what we asked people to do, and this was like pre-pandemic, was like, before you say you want to be on X committee, go to a meeting or two and see if that's really what you want to do, because you may say, oh, I want to be on park, and then say, whoa, wait a second, I don't want to be on this. So try it out, and right now most of them are meeting via Zoom, so they can still go and listen.
With social distancing limiting large groups from gathering, what have you heard of the group Springwood Avenue Rising?
Well, Springwood Avenue Rising was a great idea, and one day it will go through to what they want to do with a big parade and celebration. Again, Nina Summerlin, Diane Shelton, and Pamela Major are the three key ladies behind it. I was on their committee to do the big event on June 27th, which had to be, let's hope, postponed and not canceled, but they're actively trying to do as much as they can under these conditions.
With much public transportation eliminated because of the pandemic, scooters and the bike shares are gone. What's being done to help get people around town?
Well, we're still, again, with the Alliance of Asbury Park, which is Nina and them, we have the Easy Ride program. You can call up and get a ride any place in the county. In the first 2 years, we did 200 journeys. Said in the past month and a half, we've done 200. So they're happy as heck that people are starting to use it. So it's the Easy Ride Alliance for Healthier Asbury Park. The city's a co-sponsor with Robert Wood Johnson's New Jersey Health Institute. And the number is 201-931-4242. And again, there's money available to keep this program going. And this ties into us testing at the transportation center now for COVID. So if somebody said, well, I can't get there, they could use this to get there. So this is available. And also to get to COVID testing, the senior center has been doing robocalls. Anybody who's a senior like myself should join the senior center, because I've been getting robocalls almost daily as far as the senior center is up and running. And they offer programs. But I got the robocall yesterday. We're doing testing for coronavirus, and it's free. It's at the transportation center. If you need a ride, call us. So it's 988-5252. And Karen Murphy and her staff are doing an excellent job under the circumstances of running the senior center.
So tell us, with all of the pandemic issues, where do we stand with the parking garage?
Parking garage right now is on hold. Same as the pavement of Memorial Drive and the pavement of Bond Street, because all three were going to be funded out of the transportation utility. And right now, with the meter receipts down and everything, we're going to have to wait a couple more months, see how much we're down and see how much we can actually do, and then decide which project goes first. If, God forbid, the pandemic lasts and nobody's visiting Asbury Park, do we need a parking garage, or do we need streets that are caving in? But our streets are getting worse every day, and Memorial Drive is in bad shape. And again, that's it's Bond Street also, and they're total renovations of the street. So it's something that's got to be addressed.
The north end has come out beautiful down by the boardwalk, but Fisherman's Lot is still free. How long is that going to remain free?
To the best of my knowledge, forever, because every CAFRA permit lists it as a free lot, and nobody wants to reapply for a new CAFRA permit, be it the developers, be it anybody, just because nobody knows what the state of New Jersey will say. So right now the CAFRA permit's in place, and it calls for that to remain a free spot. So unless the CAFRA's changed, it will always be free.
Well, that's great.
It is great.
You know, speaking of iStar, they own this property on Grand and Lake. Doesn't seem to be in operation. Could always use more parking. What's the status of that?
I believe it is in operation. I think a lot of people see the gate closed on Grand Avenue and don't realize the only way you can get in is the gate on Lake Avenue. So it is open. They spent a lot of money making all their lots mechanical so they don't have to hire staff. So I've been told the gate on Lake Avenue is open.
Kids going back to school. What have you heard about the Asbury Park Board of Education opening up the schools for September?
Very little, and I think they're between a rock and a hard place. They're up against it, and the city has reached out to them. Anything we can do to help them, we will help them. It's just a question. I think they're waiting for the more guidance from Trenton after this week's announcement saying there will be flexibility. And then they'll probably come up with a plan, which I think would probably be a hybrid also, or else it's going to be 100% virtual. Just because, again, how do you tell teachers, how do you tell children, how do you tell parents like it's safe when nobody knows?
Nobody knows, right. So libraries are able to be open. When do you foresee our library opening?
Good question. And don't know. I know we've gotten complaints. And we explained to people that the city does not run the library. It's a separate autonomous agency. They have their own board of directors. I know they're doing takeout books. You can call up and get a book and somebody will take it out to their car. I know because of the questioning, they're having their first meeting in several months next week with all the board of directors for the library to figure out what they're doing. But yeah, the council's been questioned about it. I've talked to some of the members of the library board, and they say they have a meeting next week to try to discuss when they can open. But right now they are doing takeout books.
At one of the recent council meetings, they were talking about installing surveillance cameras on the boardwalk, and you were not in favor of that. What's your thinking?
My thinking was, number one, it's something that Madison Marquette's been asking for like 10 years, and I've always said, well, then you should pay half of it. And they don't want to. So that's part of the thing. The other part of the thing, and when I got the plan 2 meetings ago, the plan made no sense to me whatsoever. Working for DPW for 31 years and being deputy director and climbing underneath that boardwalk many times, nobody had gone down there and looked to see if it could be done, and they didn't know the layout of the boardwalks. And there was also some wording in the contract that was being proposed to us that a new pole had to be put up on Asbury and Kingsley. A new pole had to be put up here, but it didn't say who was paying for all that. So it was like too many questions. We met. So they saw my concerns. They agreed with some of my concerns. They couldn't be done as easily as the contractor said it could be done, because he had never opened one of those hatches and saw that he couldn't get to the east side of the boardwalk because it's all covered by sand. That's on the south side. The north side should be fairly easy. And so it was, again, there was too many unanswered questions for me to say yes. And then when I found out it wasn't going to be done till September or October, there was plenty of times to work this out so we know it can be done, and it can be done at original cost without a lot of change orders to up the price.
It's all good points.
And I still think Madison Marquette should pay half of it.
You're wearing a mask, I'm wearing a mask. Is there any form of enforcement on wearing masks that we can do, or is it just up to the individual person? Because everything we hear, masks are one of the first lines of defense against this COVID.
I totally agree, and that's why I always wear the mask. I think it's so important, but enforcement is, we can't do it. And I've checked with our lawyers, I've checked with the police chief. The way it's been written from Trenton, which is again, well, if you're, if you're with family, social distance, and you don't have to wear a mask, so it's next to impossible to enforce. And so the enforcement would be on the local police, but they're like, John, we can't enforce it with the way the law's written. Like, everything will be tossed right out of court. Recreation. Last time we talked about recreation, we couldn't say what we were doing at that point of time. And we had some great ideas. Alicia Floyd, in charge of recreation, 732-502-5759, put together a program where first she had bags made up for the parents to take home for the kids with frisbees, bubbles, coloring books, crowns, everything to try to keep them occupied. Every child in Asbury Park, and there's over 1,400 of them between the ages of 5 and 12, from any school, not just the public schools, from the charter schools, from the Catholic schools, from any school in Asbury Park, they were given a beach badge. And they and their family, because they have to be accompanied by an adult, could go to the beach Monday through Friday free. We hired 12 ambassadors for the city, and they have the purple t-shirts on saying ambassador, and they're going around and they're handing out literature for the city. They're at the train station, they're on the boardwalk, they're throughout town. And so we're creating jobs for local kids. And they're also doing a great job working with the city and working with the Chamber of Commerce and everything, is giving information out to visitors and tourists. Well, some of the good news is like the real estate market and the construction business is still booming in Asbury Park. Asbury Park is still a destination. And then the thing that I'm most proud of, and I think the city is, it's definitely positive. We've always said anything we do is going to be stressed on one thing: safety, safety, safety. Safety for our residents, safety for our employees, safety for our visitors. We did not gouge people on tickets to beach like some neighboring towns did, where they raised them close to 50% just to make up the lost money. We did not increase our fees whatsoever. Some towns did. We did not oversell the beach, where some towns have done and been taken to task for it because they just had too many people. So we've run a great, safe beach operation where we have plenty of social distancing. But the parking meters were then reprogrammed, where it said right on the parking meters, no beach badges available, do not pay for parking. Our goal has been safety, 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 and we did not compromise that to make money, to make it easier for next year or anything, and we're not going to compromise that. Yvonne Clayton said it at first council Zoom meeting, we're not out of the woods yet, and I don't know when we'll be out of the woods, but until then our main concern is going to be safety.
Has the Asbury Park Council discussed any proactive measures in dealing with the police and how they interact with the citizens?
Yes, but not enough at this point in time. We had asked for it at a council meeting that we thought every police officer should wear a camera. The social services budget has been added to, and in future budgets, I'm sure we'll look at all the budgets, but as far as the police department, they're doing more community interaction also, which is key. The community's not going to trust the cops unless they know the cops, and it's got to be more than just coffee with the cops. I know both Amy and Yvonne are still working on some type of a citizen board that would not have oversight but could look into things. But as Amy Quinn said when she was on a conference call about this, Asbury Park, everything's on the table. So if somebody comes up with something that's good, it will be taken, it will definitely be listened to and hopefully be put in effect.
Where do we stand on our code enforcement? I know we had a department starting, and then there were some personnel changes. It seemed that things were starting to turn positive What's happened and where do we stand with that?
Well, I think it got shut down a little bit with the COVID, where people were out of work, and then we got behind on COs and transfer of titles and everything. So it took us a month or so to catch up on back paperwork, especially if somebody just sold their house but they can't sell because there's no inspection. And again, we had to get in touch with our insurance company and everybody else to make sure we were protecting our employees by sending them into a house with other people. So it was a question about like more protecting our employees. And then so once code reopened, they got caught up with that. But as far as addressing any code problems in the city, still 100% doing it. If anybody sees anything wrong, they should call the code department. If you see something, report it. Also zoning. There's a lot of zoning violations wrong in the city, where somebody told me the other day, somebody's got a used car lot out of a house on X Avenue. I said, well, give it to zoning and let them go give them a summons. So both code and zoning, anybody sees anything, you got to report it.
John, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.